Two. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
All right, we are live
Yes.
now. All right, so welcome back to Movie Madness.
And it is this guy's birthday.
Hey, 32.
Yeah.
3-2.
Yes.
There, now it looks right to you. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. But we're going to talk about the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yes.
We actually saw it yesterday at an advanced screening, 26 hours ago
Yeah.
at this point. What a movie! To summarize it up, what a movie! And I mean that in the good sense. I mean, I had fun watching that. Did you?
Yes.
It was so much fun. Like, I have literally talked to so many people, and they were saying, well, I don't know, I was considering it, but... And I said, well, take it from me. Like, you know, the movie is fun. It's great. The actors have fun. And it's an immersive experience. Like, when the movie is good enough that there's only a couple times where I pay attention to the time. Because I was like, okay, what time is it? What time is it? Because there were some slow points.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's so good that I'm like, I don't care the time. Just show me the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was from the writers of Spider-Man: Homecoming, which, like, I was shocked.
I was, considering the previous movie they did was Spider-Man: Homecoming. This one was like, holy crap, this is way better. Like, did they just not care about Spider-Man?
Right.
Or is there some, corporation hands into this one? Because it felt to me like this is exactly what the writers wrote. Like, what was on screen was what the writers wrote. Whereas with Spider-Man: Homecoming, it felt like a mix.
Yeah, throughout this entire movie, it was like, first of all, I was like, this is from the guys who did Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I looked at that and I said, this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. But it was fun. It was so much fun. The movie, should we do spoilers? Probably not.
Yeah, since, the movie's not out yet. So
yeah, so we'll avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
So the structure of the party, the heroes in this, are a bard, a barbarian, a sorcerer, a druid, and a paladin. But the paladin, you could pretty much knock him off because he's there for like a little part of the movie.
Yeah.
So mainly it's just 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have 2 villains.
Yeah. There's Hugh Grant.
Who is very much having fun.
He was great.
Oh my gosh, he was hamming it up in these scenes. I swear, everybody's trying to call me now. Like, I am busy.
So yeah, there's Hugh Grant and I forgot the name of the other one.
Hugh Grant and the red...
Yeah, the Red Witch.
Yeah, the red wizard.
Yeah.
Which, she was pretty good. But you want to know what's funny? I thought I recognized the druid in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. It was Beverly Marsh.
Oh.
From It, the new It movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, wow. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. And, there's a scene, again, without spoiling, where Michelle Rodriguez goes to visit her ex-husband. As soon as I saw the actor, I'm like, who is that? Because
Bradley Cooper.
I recognized him. That was Bradley Cooper?
It was Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
It was Bradley Cooper. I can assure you.
Okay.
They don't put him up there, but he cameoed. It was very much a cameo. Like, I saw his face, I was like, that's him. That's Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
But it was so funny. Like, I would have to easily say the funniest scene in the entire movie was the graveyard scene.
Yes.
Oh my god. What a friggin' trip. So without getting into spoilers, the four heroes go to a graveyard because they're trying to find information. And this is based upon the barbarian's past. The barbarian was saying, hey, my people might know where to find this certain item. But the battle was 100 years ago. They're all dead. And of course, just with the corpses are, because the corpses are reanimated for a total of 5 questions. 5 questions. There's an item for that. And it was just reanimate them, try to get information. Well, I was given the thing for my chieftain, and then nothing. What do you mean nothing? Well, I died. Huh? Then they move the coffin over a little bit. Guy's got no legs. I'm laughing. I'm having fun with it. And it's stupid funny. But it's also a really good high fantasy adventure movie. Like, I would definitely say, like, I rated this yesterday. I would rate it a 7.25 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because I will say this. I will be picky here. I will be picky with this movie. Is that there were 2 things that there was a significant lack of that I noticed. 1, there was a significant lack of dice rolling to be had throughout this whole thing. You put in Dungeons and Dragons and you don't even throw in 1 dice rolling scene. Not 1. 2, the times it seemed like some of the plans went flawlessly in a way. It's like that seemed almost like, I know you dang well didn't roll that.
Yeah.
There's no way a plan works that smoothly.
Right.
No way.
Right.
And so that's the other thing I gotta be a stickler about. It's like, I want to see plans get blundered, and when that plan fails, you come up with another plan where crap hits the fan, but it works. It accomplishes the original intent of succeeding in objective A, even though you got to go with plan B. That's what I wanted to see. Like, I just wanted to see, like, all sorts of chaos where it's like, hey, we like that beer. Bull of it. But here's another plan. Go with this one. And it works. That didn't happen so much, but this was very much a movie that felt like, you know, it was for people who played the game and fans of the game. I gotta tell you, it has to be one of the best Dungeons and Dragons movies to date.
Yes. Oh, by far.
Because I've seen the original ones. And the original ones were not the best. But I'm told.
Yeah. As far as I know, the only saving grace, if you want to call it, about the original is Jeremy Irons.
That's literally it, because he was hamming it up. I mean, Marlon Wayans was doing the best he could, but even I gotta admit, I'm like, dude, it feels like you were being handheld in this point. Like, you weren't going full bore. But with this one, it felt like the actors knew what they were doing. And
Yeah.
fun enough, in order to understand how the game worked and how to play the game, they played and how their character would act. They played the game with their characters for several hours before
Oh,
shooting.
really?
They literally played the game.
Wow.
The
Okay.
shooting for this movie lasted from April of 2021 all the way to August. Like, holy shit. That was quite a while ago.
So, So I'm guessing they like wrote the characters on like character sheets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, they did. And apparently, D&D Beyond, the site, was allowing people to download the characters for free that you can bring into your own campaign,
Huh.
so you can see what stats they had. Now, I'm very certain that the Bard had a negative modifier for his strength.
Yeah.
I should know, because that same day after we were done watching the movie, I had to go home and I had to get my girlfriend set up for Dungeons and Dragons. And I got her to play, and she wanted to play a Tabaxi Bard.
Huh.
Which, that was fun. Bro, excuse me. Oh my god. I had to deal with kids today. I had to work. I was like, part of the time I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I want to relax. Did I? No.
I think there's also a rumored Dungeons and Dragons TV show.
There is. That rumor is correct. They're looking to make a TV show. Now, granted, the characters in the movie aren't going to be in the show.
Yeah. What I think would actually be cool is if this would make like a perfect like anthology show.
Oh, easily. Like, you could have a season be dedicated to a different campaign.
Yeah.
Like, this would be like 100% like an anthology show and an anthology series. Simply because Dungeons and Dragons is so vast that you literally could just say, yeah, don't need the same characters.
Right.
Make different ones. Setting is kind of the same. I mean, that's what we're doing in my campaign. And in my campaign, well, my buddy's campaign, it is after our original group of heroes, we didn't stop this all-powerful god because he was going to rip us to shreds, and he gave us an easy out. We all said, honestly, that makes sense. So, fast forward years late, like 10, 20 years later, and we've created new characters.
Okay.
And so we're back in the same familiar setting, but we've got different characters so we could play different branches of the story and explore different areas. So it still feels fresh and new. There's actually a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. You want to know what the longest one was?
What?
40 years.
Wow.
40 years. These people were playing the same campaign. Like, it was just stretched out so much. Like, it was literally insane. All right.
Okay. Back to the movie.
Back to the movie, because the game, it's so much fun. And I'm honestly glad that Wizards of the Coast retracted their open gaming license, because if they didn't, I wouldn't have seen this movie. Because they wanted to take... They didn't want fans, they wanted the money.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can't have the money without the fans.
Right. Yeah.
If you want your product to succeed, you have to, and get the money, you have to create fans.
Mm-hmm.
And there was definitely built-in fans to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Myself included. But when they decided that, no, we're going to create a different open gaming license, and, we just want your money, we don't want you as a fan, that's when people said, okay, screw you. And they started, deleting their D&D Beyond account. They started, they stopped playing, the game for months. If not months, at least a month. At the very least a month, because this thing went on, well before Dungeons and Dragons movie. The movie was already announced, and I was already excited for that, but when the open game license came about, I was pretty much concerned and said, no, this can't work so well. This cannot work so well. So, when Hasbro jumped on Wizards of the Coast back, Wizards of the Coast is the one that produces Dungeons and Dragons. They're subsidized by the parent company Hasbro. And Hasbro, because of the backlash of the open gaming license, Hasbro needed the movie to succeed.
Mhm.
And the only way that they were going to like make money back or even recoup some of their losses, because I guarantee you the amount of money they could have gotten if they had not fucked with the open gaming license up here.
Mhm.
But because they fixed the open gaming license, it'll probably be about here. It won't be the full potential.
Right.
But it will certainly be enough where they'll make a money. They'll make their money. Hasbro shut down Wizards of the Coast and said, fix this or you don't have a job,
Right.
to the people that made this. And they fixed it. And I said, okay, because you came around and said, we screwed up, we're going to do the right thing now. We're going to leave the open gaming license alone. I said, okay, because you made it right, I'm going to see this movie. And I'm glad that I did, because it was fun and I enjoyed it. Oh, knock it off, would you?
Okay, so there are a few things that I noticed
Mhm.
throughout the movie. One, there are a lot of similarities to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes. You were pointing this out yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. I felt that Chris Pine's character was maybe a little too similar to Star-Lord.
He was, but he was also the bard. For a bard, words are his thing. Like, words are more of his weapon.
Okay.
Like, yeah, he can use a bow and arrow and a sword. My girlfriend absolutely does that. But they're going to excel in social-based encounters.
Okay.
So, like, coming up with plans or even fucking, distractions. That's going to drive me nuts. Distractions and other stuff such as, plans, distractions, some magics. They can do some magic, which I'm surprised that he didn't do a little bit more of. But I guess his was supposed to be a bard fighter subclass or something like that.
Yeah. And I noticed that some of the sets, a lot of the interior of the castle were like reused from Harry Potter.
Yeah, it did look a little bit like Hogwarts with the castle.
Yeah, and especially when they were on the beach, that was the exact same beach.
It was very much like the exact same beach as when Dobby was. Like, part of me, as soon as you mentioned it, I'm like, I kind of want to go back and see where they buried him.
Yeah,
just because it's like they buried Dobby somewhere.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I do have to give a shout out to the effects artists in this movie, because they did a great job.
Yeah, there were quite a number of practical effects.
Yeah.
Which made it look good, and the few times that they put in CGI, it looked like it blended in very, very well. So, and that's the thing I've noticed with movies. The more practical effects you do, the better it looks, even in this day and age. Whereas if you do CGI, it's like, meh, it's okay. I mean, there was one point when that dragon statue popped up, I was like, that looks a little bloated. Just a little bit. It looks like it's sticking out just a little bit, but that's because they're nearing the end of the movie, and most of the CGI was spent on, I think, probably the castle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would definitely say give this movie a watch. I would say at the minimum twice. 2 times watch. And oh, the other thing I forgot to mention. Most people are going nuts about this. I've seen on Reddit and social media that with this movie coming out, people are hunting for this D20 popcorn bucket. Let me set the record straight. As someone that is trying to find this thing as well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not, if you're here in America, you're not going to find it. You are not going to find it. Come here. Come here. You're not going to find the bucket because it is a Canadian only, Cineplex only exclusive. You are not going to get that popcorn bucket no matter how much you try unless you're willing to go to like Ontario or Newfoundland or wherever the 10 provinces are, whichever the 10 are there, and go to a Cineplex, specifically a Cineplex, and ordering that bucket. If you don't do any of that, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've looked on eBay. I've looked on Amazon. I was trying to find this bucket. And Bella's like, shut up. But, yeah, that bucket, it's not there.
Yeah.
It's not here in America. And I even told you about this, and you were like, of course Canada gets the fun stuff. God, how do I got 10 text messages? Jesus Christ.
Also, there is a mid-credit scene. I do not know if there's a post-credit scene.
We did not stick around because we were just like, hey. Another friend of mine saying, I'll hook you up if I come across it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for the boy. But literally, someone from Reddit posted like, I'm obsessed with this because I'm trying to find a bucket. I'm gonna have to go exclusively to Cineplexes just to find this bucket. And you want to know what? Cineplex is actually the parent company of AMC.
Oh, really?
So why the heck is your company not getting these buckets?
I don't know. We normally do get them, so I don't know.
I mean, I specifically wanted to go into the theater with this D20 popcorn bucket because I was going to be like a little kid and just be happy as shit. Like, I got a giant D20. Someone says, roll for initiative. I'm going to be like, whoop.
Somebody actually said that before the movie started.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I shot back, I got a 5. More erupting of laughter. Followed by a stream of good lucks. Like, it was very much, the movie was very much made for people that play Dungeons and Dragons, and people that were in the theater play Dungeons and Dragons. So this is a very, very good movie. I do have to say one thing, though, that I was, I kind of didn't like, which is the previews. Unfortunately, it was like, what was with these previews? They suck. But then also at the beginning, it's like, you're choosing to watch this in a theater the way movies were meant to be seen. Thank you. You are heroes. I'm like, stop it. Friggin' stop it.
Yeah.
Show me the picture. I don't want to see this. Hey, pat yourselves on the back for coming to the movies. No, screw you.
Yeah, and even like before the movie started, there was like, it had telling people to buy tickets for the movie, and this person's just like, we did. That's why we're here.
And it was so perfectly timed too. It's like, buy tickets for the advance showing. We know. That's why we're here. Everybody bought it. I know I about fell out my seat laughing. I almost fell out my seat laughing. Like, just from the audience interaction and the movie all the way to the end was just a riot. It was fun. Like, I've been telling my friends, you need to see this movie. You need to see this movie. They're saying, well, I'll give it a shot. No, not give it a shot. You need to see this movie. Not for Wizards of the Coast, not for Hasbro, but because this has to be one of the best Dungeons and Dragons movies to date. Actually, not one of, the best.
Mm-hmm.
The best. Oh,
Gosh.
But honestly, because there was such a smattering of different places, they could easily expand out from this world and create a series like piggybacking from the show movie all the way to the show as a piggyback.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I did feel like some of the characters' backstories were a bit generic.
They pretty much are. I mean,
Yeah.
Chris Pines was fairly generic, but it's like, oh, I want to be part of this spy organization. So I did. And I was happy about my oath, but I wish we had a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which, I get that. It's generic family man. Like,
yeah.
I'm doing something for a good cause, but I'm trying to need some more money.
Yeah. Michelle Rodriguez was banished from her tribe because she fell in love with an outsider. Like,
Yep. It's generic, but it's like they came up with these characters to look for as generic a trope as ever, but it's the one that kind of works and fits the most.
Yeah.
Though the one thing I do have to applaud them for is the score.
Oh yes,
The
the score
score-
was great.
It was great. The music was darker and much more serious when it had to be, but when it came to Chris Pine's character with his lute playing, 100% like it was so light and whimsical and airy. I was like, this. And you want to know something I really liked? That was a nice little touch. They had him sing. They had him sing bardic songs. I'm like, that is something you don't see a whole heck of a lot of. Not, at least not when I play D&D.
Yeah. Like you could tell, like they did their research.
And they had fun.
Yes, the actors. You could tell the actors had fun.
Yeah, because in this game, all you have to do is just act. Just act as the character. And in this case, the character is you. So the question would be, what would you do? And like it's best summarized up by what my DM was saying. The character is you.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do in this scenario, in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
And that's easily like the best advice you can have for things like this. Like, yeah, what would my character do? But I will say this, Michelle Rodriguez, very much you could tell she wasn't acting.
Yeah.
But her characters, the one she takes, she's typecast to be like a stoic woman fighter, where it's like she doesn't have to act. She doesn't have to.
Right.
She just does like her shtick, and it's like, yeah, that's it. That's it. Let's see, Justice Smith as the sorcerer. I honest to God, I asked you if he was related to Will Smith.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, and he's not.
Yeah.
So I was like, because I initially thought Justice Smith was Will Smith's kid. I was like, maybe. But no, Justice Smith was actually, he did a good job. He was nervous. He was not confident in himself. And
Right.
then towards the end, he becomes confident in himself and his magic comes through. And that made the movie enjoyable. And because it was seeing arcs of different
Mm-hmm.
people. For instance, Chris Pine's character, his arc was, that of redemption.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like for his daughter.
Yeah. And Michelle Rodriguez, hers is just kick ass.
Yeah.
Just kick ass from point A to point B. That's it.
Yeah.
And that works. Simon, Justice Smith's character, developed more confidence in himself. And you see that.
Mm-hmm.
And the druid's character, the druid actress, her arc was initially she doesn't trust humans. Then she goes to, no, you're not all bad. Which I'm like, yes! Clearly, the nice thing is they didn't tell you when what was going on in the arc. They showed you.
Yes.
They showed you, and that's the part of storytelling I like.
Yeah.
Is that she started to trust people. Simon became more confident in himself. Well, Doric trusted. That was the character's name.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Pine's character, was his arc was the movie.
Right, and I can't really.
Actually, no. Michelle Rodriguez was finding a family.
Yeah,
That was her arc.
yeah. Which we can't really say anymore without getting into spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise I would have mentioned something about the ending. But
It's a basic, generic fantasy adventure with some comedy thrown in there.
Mhm.
Story.
I will say though that the relationship between I kind of felt like the relationships were like the weakest part of the movie, honestly.
What do you mean by the relationships?
Like the relationship between Simon and Doric was not all that interesting.
It really wasn't. I found it much more interesting when they were like comrades. Because his effort of, trying to, go on a second date with her, it was like, dude, cut it. Cut it out, dude. But I will say this: what should have made the ending, after the end credits, there should have been a scene where it's all these people sitting around the table. Actually, all the actors and actresses sitting around the table, just going like, "All right, so that was our campaign," and the DM just holds up a D20 and says, "So who's ready for round 2?" That would have been freaking amazing to see.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be like, okay, boom. And before the camera pans out, just, who's ready for round 2? Boom.
Yeah.
And you hear a dice roll. That would have made the movie.
That would have been like the perfect
Ending?
Well, that would have been the perfect spot to put the Critical Role people.
It probably would have. Actually, and this is true. Critical Role is in this movie. I don't know where they are because I didn't look at any articles. But if y'all can find them, awesome. Awesome. Oh, goodness. But no, this movie, I would definitely recommend go watch it. Go watch it twice. Like, I had more fun watching this movie than I did with Violent Night.
Yeah. How did you feel about Chris Pine's daughter in the movie?
Yeah, bland, generic, but that's okay. I was there to see Chris Pine be a bard.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a daughter. Okay, cool. What would you do?
Yeah. I knew exactly where that was gonna go. Like,
Yeah. It's like my daughter's been somewhat. Well, I'm not gonna say it, but he has to rescue his daughter.
Yeah.
That's it. But I was like, I really don't care about the daughter. I care more about Chris Pine and what he does.
Yeah. And Chloe Coleman is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I hope that this won't put her in bland generic roles.
Yeah.
Because I know the Hollywood machine tends to take actors and actresses like her, chew her up and spit her out.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately.
But it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. And that's all I got to talk about on that.
Yeah, that's really all we can say without getting the spoilers.
Yeah, we could probably talk more about spoilers afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest. If you want to know spoilers, we'll probably talk about it in the Discord server.
Yeah.
Just so that we don't have to keep coming back to videos where... Because I said we should do some advanced screenings of movies. But the thing is, we don't want to keep coming back to these where it's like, okay, now for where at first it's spoiler free, and then second one it's like, okay, spoiler full, like, because if we did that one, we'd have to wait like a month.
Yeah.
And after a month, everyone would be saying, "Why are you still talking about this?" It's like because some people don't, like they haven't seen it yet.
All right.
But 'tis what it is. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I'm tired. I had like 2 pieces of cake at work. Like they made me a birthday cake, and of course all the sugar's now starting to catch up to me. So I'm looking at this thinking, oh, this is gonna suck. Well, I think that's all we can talk about, though.
Yeah. Oh. I thought what they did with the portal was cool.
Oh yeah, the hitherthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the portal.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cool, and that actually is an item. But the way that they used it was like, actually, there was one other funny moment before they got the portal. There was a bridge and the paladin, the in and out 5th member of the party. He was explaining, here's what we got to do in order to beat this puzzle. I wanted to shout out in the theater, too much thinking. When do I hit stuff? Actually, too much thinking. When me hit stuff? And it's, of course, Justice Smith character steps on a stone and just wrecks the whole bridge. I'm like, oh, thank you, God. Like, the Paladin character was so serious. Like, he was the only... he was one of the few serious characters in a silly movie.
Yeah.
Where I think that's the whole joke and the whole shtick of him. That's the whole funny joke. He's one of the few serious characters in a silly movie.
It was a little bit like Drax, in a way.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Which I do say, like, that was actually fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Like especially like with his like speech pattern, it was very Drax.
Very much so. It was very much like. It was very much like straight to the point sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where if someone tried to be more nuanced or ironic or sarcastic, he wouldn't get it at all. I was like, you're the only one that takes things seriously. And that's the joke, isn't it?
You're not a lot of fun, are you?
No. But the one line that they said, which was that there was something up with him, I was like, huh. And they just mentioned that and didn't elaborate on it anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. If he comes back in the sequel, y'all are going to have to address that. Yeah. Part of me was thinking, though, that he was the big bad guy.
Yeah.
But turns out, no, it was just the Red Wizard who was the big bad guy. I look at that thinking, you had a setup perfectly for this other guy that you were hinting that was like a big, bad, evil guy. And you did nothing with him. Which was kind of a bummer, because I was looking forward to like a big conflict. And that didn't happen. I swear to God. What is with people? I got people constantly texting me and calling me, wishing me happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. I'm happy. I'm grateful. But at the same time, let me do my work. I got to take care of this. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to do much.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all we have for today.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah. Yeah, since we can't really say anything else without getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
So next time, we're going to do a very a special tribute episode to my uncle who passed away not too long ago. He loved John Wayne was a big fan. So next time we are going to talk about John Wayne.
Yeah.
Until then, make sure to comment, like, subscribe.
Check out our Discord.
Check out our Discord.
And go see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely go see this movie. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
It'll be dollars well worth spent.
Yeah. But until next time, we'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.